Corey Hart is a hands-on artist when it comes to producing his work. In fact, out of Attitude and Virtue's 10 songs, only the Richard Perry-produced Always doesn't have a Corey Hart credit. Corey handled 4 songs on his own and shares co-production credit with Tom Lord Alge on the others.
I think production, for me, is so essential to all that I do, and that maybe one day I'll reach the point where I will just pull back completely and just have someone tell me what to do. And I don't mean what to sing and what not to sing, but any one of these songs could have been done completely different. 92 Days of Rain could have been a country twang song, with a steel guitar. It could have been produced that way. Whether it would have worked or not is another thing, but it could have been done that way. The producer comes down to choices and options, and that is a very significant thing. You have to have a lot of confidence in who you're working with if they are going to produce you as to what choices inevitably are made. So I like to keep my hands on it, and I definitely have no problem with co-producing with someone, but I definitely need to make the final decision on the tracks.
One of Attitude and Virtue's highlights is the rocker 92 Days of Rain, which received some surprise help from Duff McKagan of Guns N' Roses.
McKagan was hanging around the studio that night, and he was, actually a really sweet guy. The typical rock and roll version of what you'd expect. I mean, he was knocking back a few and having a good time, cutting loose. He was a real charmer, and he just came in and we had laid down the track, so he couldn't play bass on it. That's his instrument. So I was stacking up my vocals with Ruby Turner's to try and give an anthem-like feel to the chorus. And I suggested to him, why don't you sing? And he said, I don't really sing except, live on tour. I do some singing. And I said, well, it doesn't need to sound good. It just needs to sound raunchy, and we're going to stack up a lot of vocals here. And so the three of us went in there and just laid down these vocals for a couple of hours.
92 Days of Rain showcases Corey's rock and roll side.
I don't think 92 Days of Rain misses the mark. I think that it's born from the right spirit, and that it's more of a bluesy rock and roll thing than a thrashing rock and roll. Definitely influenced by Clapton, definitely got that blues kind of feel to it, rock and roll blues. And 92 Days of Rain is both a personal feeling and also a questioning out to the world as to what we're all doing.
Devastation in the gardens, virgin beats red cries out in need. What have you done to my existence? Revolution now involved.
That's 92 Days of Rain, Corey Hart from Attitude and Virtue. For Corey, songwriting is at the core of his music.
If I have any strength, it's that I'm a better songwriter. I'm a pretty decent songwriter, and I'm learning to be a better songwriter. My vocals, I don't think, are my strength. I'm trying to get better at that, but I don't think it's my greatest strength. If I didn't have a record deal, would I be sitting in my room writing songs still? Absolutely yes. Would they be more frustrated, more bitter? Would the theme of them be directed differently than they are now? Absolutely, because I don't care who you are and how much soul-searching you've got. If you're denied what your dream is, you're going to get bitter. I definitely would be still writing songs, but there would be a tinge of a different element found in them if I wasn't fortunate enough to be able to make records and continue to go in the studio and make records on my own terms.
Ask Corey what his own personal favorite is on Attitude and Virtue, and he'll tell you,
I Want Cool Cool Love is probably my favorite song on the record. Lyrically and musically, it just hit the mark for me. It's hard to describe. It started off as a very personal statement, but I started to look outward, and it was during a time just prior to the Gulf War, and that's the first war that I've lived through as an adult, to be able to understand it. And the song started out as a list of desires that I have in my own life to achieve. Very personal shopping list of things that I wanted to attain. And they were, for example, I mentioned that I wanted to go to Kathmandu and I wanted to see the Great Wall of China. And it became more of a song about peace, a song, the cool representing to me the image of the 60s. I thought it was kind of reflective of an era in the 60s when people were in touch with something as naive as, loving one another.
I won't